award as well as Ray. It's really a lifetime achievement. A great, great honor. Thank you, Alan, and thank you, Neil, and all those on the nominating committee. I want to thank the entire TIA on behalf of the family for this iconic award honoring Ray. Ray was truly one of a kind. And if I could ask you to listen for a moment, I know I'm not the best public speaker, but I could use your indulgence. Ray was truly one of a kind, a game changer in our industry. There is no doubt in my mind in he's watching us from above this evening, extraordinarily humbled for this tribute that you, his colleagues, have bestowed upon him. I struggled for quite some time of what to say tonight, for how does one capture the essence of a man with such exceptional ability who changed our industry and had so much talent in a few short minutes. Let me start by saying that Ray Larsen was the finest manufacturer's representative in the industry, and I dare say the country. A natural-born leader, Ray built Ray Larsen and Associates from the ground up, starting in 1958. Ray was a visionary and had instinctive people skills and a business acumen second to none. Over the years, Ray single-handedly set the professional standard for all representatives nationwide, establishing himself and our organization as the premier link between the manufacturer and the retailer. Back in the day, and well before I joined Ray, Ray was on the road for weeks at a time. I often referred to him as our road scholar. A guy with street-savvy smarts, making deals with buyers and chairmen alike from major national and regional chains to drug and supermarkets in our territory. Ray's broad-based product knowledge and competency became legendary. It's no secret he could be a tough negotiator and was never one to accept no for an answer, especially if he saw potential in the success of the product line and believed in the people. The key for Ray was always the people. He could be relentless, persistent in his opinions, and steadfast in his principles. That was how his reputation for getting it done grew. Soon the Ray Larsen name and the showroom in the famous 205th Avenue building became a magnet for established companies and startups alike, especially leading up to Toy Fair as we have now. After retaining Tonka, which we're going to touch on in the film that you'll see in a few minutes, Ray helped each and every company, whether it was Breyer Horses, IGI's, Uno, VTech, or Intex Inflatables, and Dynacraft get to the shelf. Our organization's success brought new factory opportunities like Aviva Sport, Moose Mountain, Microsoft Actimates, Cranium, and Just Play. We worked hand in hand with each until they became the dominant players in their respective categories. Ray saw trends before the majority of us did, and oftentimes before many of us could. He was always one step ahead, and he struck pure gold when he hired the first woman salesperson in what had been, till that point, a man's industry. That woman not only became his top sales producer, but later on his partner for life, Mrs. Mary Ann Larsen. Mary Ann, if you'd be kind enough to stand. It's a pleasure having you here tonight, and I'm so glad you could join us. Ray was a wealth of information, a walking Wikipedia decades before it even existed. He could knowledgeably talk on a myriad of subjects, from business to global events, to which were the best restaurants to dine in New York, and what the must-see Broadway shows of the season were. Ray was the quintessential man about town. Unbeknownst to most of you, Ray was not only successful in our business, but he produced over a dozen plays on Broadway, nominated for 4 Tonys and winning 2 for himself. As if that wasn't enough of a career, Ray was a founding member of Lincoln Center and served on the board for over 30 years. Ray's friends ran the gamut, from the industry to playwrights, to actors, to politicians, many who you might recognize in the film that we're about to show you. He lived every second of his life to the fullest. Ray's sudden passing was devastating and totally unexpected, as I had seen him just a day earlier. I, for one, will never meet anyone like him again. On behalf of the entire RLA marketing family, including in the past David Weitzman, John Williams, currently Dave Johnson, Ernie Simonetti, Mike Gerson, John Caruso, and our office staffs in both New York and New Jersey, along with the family and all those who loved and knew Ray, let's raise a glass, if you will, to Ray, to Mary Ann, and to Ray's son, Jared, and his wife, Allison, and Ray's beloved grandkids, Spencer and Trevor. May Ray's memory be a blessing to all. Ray, as they say in Star Wars, may the Force be with you. Somehow I know, wherever you are, I know it is you. Congratulations, my friend. Thank you all for listening. Now please enjoy our video.
Ray Larsen was a natural-born leader and revolutionary in the toy industry. Born in Hell's Kitchen, New York in the post-Depression era, Ray graduated from the neighborhood streets to become a car salesman at 17. He loved selling, but not the car business. In 1957, he met Arthur Pizer, who brought him into the toy industry early in '58. Ray began his career in the historic toy building, but in the fall of '60, Arthur passed away and Ray took over the business on his own at the age of 23. Ray's first task was to persuade Arthur's largest line, Tonka, to have faith in his ability as a new toy salesman. He flew to Minnesota to convince the executives from Tonka to give him a chance. When Tonka agreed, Ray turned around and rewarded them by selling virtually every account in the territory, and sales soared. Ray propelled Tonka to a national brand, and the newly named Ray Larsen & Associates accounted for more than 60% of the retail toy outlets nationwide.
Ray had kind of a mantra that I learned real early, and that's that, our position and our job is to make our partnerships with our manufacturers, with our retailers, win-win situations, so that they both walk away feeling that they won and they can build a long-term relationship.
Ray grew his business and showroom space into the largest, independent, and most prestigious office in the toy building. RLA became a magnet for established and new toy companies alike, including Breyer Horses, International Games, makers of Uno, VTech, Intex Inflatables, Dynacraft, and Cranium, just to name a few. Ray and his team sold their hearts out for manufacturers and got them the shelf space.
Ray was the vital link between the manufacturer and the retailer. Through his ability to understand the needs of both, he was very, very successful in getting items placed on a shelf and expanding those items into line presentations.
In the mid-60s, Ray was one of the first to hire a woman to a role that had typically been a men's club. Mary Ann became RLA's leading salesperson, improving account and factory relationships, and became Ray's partner for life. In the late 70s, 80s, and 90s, the power of the Ray Larsen selling machine was well and widely known, and anyone wanting to enter the toy business sought Ray's representation.
Ray was really ahead of his time, over 50 years in the industry, well respected. He had his office down in New York City, and everybody wanted to kind of come in and visit Ray, see what was going on. He really had his pulse on the industry and knew what was going on.
Ray was one of the best people I ever knew. I knew Ray since I was 21 years old, and he was like a mentor to me, and business associate, also like a father figure to me. He had told me, just go out there, be yourself, and you'll be successful.
Ray's larger-than-life personality also took him to places beyond the toy business. He was a lover of the arts, especially Broadway. Ray produced over a dozen plays, for which he received 4 Tony nominations and 2 Tony Awards. Beyond his passion for the toy industry, his first love was his family, a loving husband and father. Ray passed away in December of 2012, but his legacy has lived on. RLA has continued to grow its business for factories and retailers alike. They continue to maintain the values, work ethic, and client-first mentality that Ray Larsen pioneered in the industry.
Years before taking the far harder job of staying home with me. And on behalf of the whole Larsen family, some of which couldn't be here tonight, but which also includes the very hard-working team of RLA Marketing today, I want to thank the Toy Industry Association for this great posthumous honor. from my father, Ray Larsen, a true pioneer that helped shape the toy industry for over 50 years. Ray was a man of little formal education, but a tremendous wealth of knowledge. He was self-taught, always reading, and excellent at nearly everything he tried to do. I believe he had already mastered the art of the deal long before the book came out. He could enter an event like this one, and everyone would take notice. Ray would enthusiastically engage with every person in the room, making you feel like the most important person here. Then, as we called it, he'd pull a Houdini in time to tuck me in and catch up evening news without anyone realizing that he'd already left. Many of you knew Ray as a person of honest character, strong conviction, and principles. These traits bled through everything that he was involved in, from the toy industry to Broadway, from philanthropy to politics, from the business world to our family. But I knew him as the greatest father, my best man, and my best friend. Some of my fondest memories are of being a wide-eyed child entering the greatest place on earth, the International Toy Building at 200 Fifth Avenue. What a place to be able to market the products that brought us so much joy in our youth. I'd walk through the great glass doors of Ray Larsen Associates and be greeted by the wonderful faces of Edna, Agnes, Rose, Ernie, Alan, John, Eileen, and so many more. Ray would invariably be in a meeting when I get there, but when Edna would let him know that I had arrived, the meeting was over and he'd come out with the biggest smile, introducing me to everyone from factories to the CEOs of the largest stores at the time. Touring the showroom of Ray Larsen Associates really was a breathtaking experience, especially for a kid. A little different perspective than I know you've gotten tonight. The privilege of seeing the greatest toys of today and the hottest toys of tomorrow was the highlight of any trip. On a rare occasion, I might even be allowed to take something home, unless it was a prototype. But I never did get that drum set that Ernie and David used to set up for me in the back showroom. I can't imagine why. Although my dad received many awards over his 50-plus years in the industry, Ray was not one in search of praise or fame. In fact, he would have preferred that his associates or his company have the success and accolade. I think he hung more of my awards from school than he did his own. However, I'm quite sure that my father would be honored and humbled to receive this Lifetime Achievement Award from the Toy Industry Association, as this was such a major part of his life. Just the other day, as I was watching and helping my two sons, Spencer and Trevor, play in the snow and build an 8-foot snowman, I swear I could feel my dad's hand on my shoulder. And I thought back to one of the most important things that he and my mother taught me. To live each day in the moment. My dad truly did live every day in the moment, and he knew how to live. And isn't that what it's all about? Not just this great award, but in life, going through life, doing the best that we can in everything we do. Not to beat the people across the table, but to make every outcome be the best for everyone. My father had so many pearls of wisdom, and so many I can't recall, but some that come to me at odd times, and I'll leave you with a couple. Always stay in the present and be aware of your surroundings. On the surroundings note, always position yourself near the kitchen at a cocktail party so you won't be reaching for an empty tray. If it were easy or fun, they wouldn't call it work, and they definitely wouldn't pay you for it. I'll leave you with one of his favorite motivational mantras. He used to say, "Every day and in every way, I grow better, better, and better. Positive thoughts will always be my first thoughts, and negative thoughts shall never have influence over me." On behalf of my family and RLA Marketing, thank you for recognizing my father, Ray Larsen, for his over half-century of excellence in the toy industry.